Hey everyone, Ryan here. Grab your coffee, because today's topic is one of the most shocking headlines I've seen in a long time. You've probably seen it all over social media. America might remove federal income tax. People are freaking out. Some are excited, some are confused, and a lot of people are asking, is this real? Can a country even do that? What would happen to the economy? So today, I'm breaking this whole thing down, calmly, clearly, and without the drama. And before we get into it, tell me in the comments, if income tax disappeared tomorrow, what's the first thing you would do with that extra money? All right, let's talk about it. Did Trump actually say this? Yes, but not the way headlines are twisting it. He didn't say, income tax is officially canceled. He said something closer to, if tariff revenues increase enough, we could eliminate federal income tax. So this is not a law, not a policy, not a confirmed plan. It's a political idea, and a pretty wild one. But here's the interesting part. Even though it's not official, the concept itself opens a huge conversation about how America funds its government and whether the system we use today is the best one for the future. And that's why this topic is blowing up.
Can the U.S. actually remove income tax? Short answer, technically yes. Realistically, extremely difficult. Here's why. The U.S. government gets its money mainly from federal income tax, payroll taxes, Social Security and Medicare, corporate taxes, tariffs, and a few smaller sources. Federal income tax alone brings in trillions of dollars per year. Eliminating it means the government suddenly loses almost half of its total revenue. So unless they replace that money from another source, the system collapses. That's why this proposal is not simple. It sounds exciting, but behind the scenes, it would flip the entire economy upside down. If income tax disappears, what happens? Now listen carefully. This is where things get interesting. 1. People's paychecks jump instantly. If income tax vanished, millions of Americans would suddenly have more money. Imagine getting 20 to 35% more take-home pay overnight. People would spend more, save more, invest more. The middle class would breathe for the first time in decades. But something else would happen too. Federal income must be replaced. If the government loses trillions, it has three options: increase tariffs massively, increase consumption taxes, like a national sales tax, or cut government spending dramatically. And trust me, none of these are painless. Tariffs make imported goods more expensive. A national sales tax makes daily life more expensive. And cutting spending affects healthcare, infrastructure, military, and federal programs. So yeah, income tax disappearing sounds fun until you see the trade-offs.
Let's be honest. People aren't sharing this because they care about fiscal policy. They're sharing it because it's shocking. No major country eliminates income tax. It's emotional. Everyone hates taxes. Everyone imagines what their life would look like with more money. It's political. Some love Trump, some hate Trump. Either way, people click. It taps into a bigger fear. People already feel the U.S. economy is changing. Housing is unaffordable. Debt is insane. Inflation still hurts. So any major economic change feels possible. This is why the topic exploded. Could America survive without income tax? Here's the surprising part. Yes, if the entire system is redesigned. Some countries use higher sales taxes, higher tariffs, national VAT systems, wealth taxes, heavy corporate taxes to avoid personal income tax. The U.S. could theoretically move toward a system where companies pay more, imports pay more. Consumers pay based on spending, not earning. But does America want this? That's the real question. A system like that benefits entrepreneurs, investors, business owners, people with high passive income, millionaires with strong portfolios. But it hurts low-income families, people who spend every dollar they earn, heavy consumers. That's why this conversation is so complex.
Why politicians use this idea? Because it's genius. Not economically, politically. Think about it. I will eliminate income tax is the biggest emotional trigger a politician can use. It creates hope, it creates fear, it creates division, it creates attention. And attention is power. But as a financial educator, my job is to tell you the truth. A country does not remove income tax overnight. It redesigns the entire economy to make that possible. So, will income tax actually be removed? My honest prediction? Not completely. But the system might change. What could happen instead? Lower income tax brackets, higher import tariffs, higher corporate taxes, more tax credits, new taxation models for AI-driven businesses, incentives for investors and entrepreneurs. Basically, a shift, not a disappearance. And hey, I want to hear your thoughts too. Would you rather pay tax on what you earn or what you spend? Income tax versus consumption tax, which is fairer? Tell me in the comments. All right, everyone, that was a big one. This topic is controversial, complex, and honestly, pretty fascinating. Because whether income tax actually disappears or not, this conversation shows one thing. America is going through a massive economic shift, and the next 10 years will look nothing like the last 10. If you enjoyed this breakdown, if it helped you think differently, if it answered questions the headlines never explain, make sure you subscribe. We talk finance, investing, wealth, taxation, entrepreneurship, and the real stories behind viral economic news. This is Ryan. I'll see you in the next episode.